What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF, man, back with another live stream with some breaking news. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. Lakers hire Lionel Hollins. If you guys remember who that was, he was the head coach for the Memphis Grizzlies back in like 2013, 14. And, we officially hired him as an assistant. So our assistant coaching staff continues to grow. So that is really good, man. And I'm actually kind of impressed with the direction that the front office continues to take silently, right? We didn't hear any rumors about this, so that's all good news, guys. So you got to be happy about that. Now, remember, Lionel Hollins led the Memphis Grizzlies to a franchise record 56 wins back in 2013, and eventually they lost in the Western Conference Finals to the San Antonio Spurs, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, were the champions that year versus the Miami Heat. So bottom line is, we got a good one as an assistant. He's a good veteran coach. I think he's also good with player development. Let's not forget he had Marc Gasol over there in Memphis when he was developing all that. So this is really good, guys. This is really good news. And we have even more good news. The Pelicans might be ready to move Anthony Davis. However, that makes me a little bit nervous because rumor has it that they love the old offer that the Lakers had on the table for AD. The old trade package. You guys remember that was basically flushing out our whole young core. So if that happens, you could kiss the young core goodbye, man, because we're going to be bled out dry in this trade. Now, David Griffin does love Brandon Ingram, so it's yet to be determined if he values him enough to like at least lower Anthony Davis' trade value just a little bit, simply because, more time has passed with him on the roster, the more his value, I think, decreases. So can we at least keep either the pig or Lonzo Ball or one young asset? I'd be okay with that. However, if we give up everything for Anthony Davis, people are saying whatever it takes. I understand that. I love Anthony Davis. Love LeBron. I think they could both be a dynamic duo. However, if we don't have another free agent in our back pocket ready to go, or if guys like J.J. Redick and Marquise Morris and guys like that aren't willing and able to take pay cuts to join this roster, we're going to have a dry roster outside of the starting three. So I'm sure – I'll tell you what, I'm sure that there's free agents willing to join, but is there any game-changing free agents out there that are going to be able to make sure the Lakers have enough they have enough depth? Because as you guys all know, in the playoffs, you can see it's all depth. Depth really matters. So hopefully the Pelicans will take a lesser offer if that deal does go through. But honestly, I'm so attached to the young core, man, that it's going to hurt so bad if we trade him away, as much as I love Anthony Davis. I know, again, we grow up watching the young core. We watch them grow and become young men and continue to develop. So that's a little heartbreaking if we do have to flush him out. But the only way I can see this, man, happening for the Lakers is if and us being okay with it as fans is if they win a championship day one, like year one, like no excuses. If Anthony Davis gets traded for all the young pieces and he comes here with LeBron James and potentially another free agent, they must win a championship. If not, it's championship or bust. I do not want to give up our future if we don't win the championship. So the pressure will be on LeBron, and his reputation as a roster flusher will continue to expand, because let's not sugarcoat it here. He went back to Cleveland, traded away Wiggins. They got rid of Dion Waiters and stuff like that to appease LeBron. Now if he comes here to LA and they do the same thing, then it really looks like LeBron. They need to accommodate him everywhere he goes, and that's okay as long as he delivers championships. But if he doesn't deliver championships, then this will be known as the biggest fail in trade history, alongside with the Carmelo Anthony deal. That I always like to use that as a guideline, guys. The Carmelo Anthony deal, they gave everything up. And yes, I get it. None of those young pieces turned into stars, but they didn't have any depth, and therefore Carmelo and Amari Stoudemire was not able to compete in New York. So they gave up guys like Gallinari, who are very valuable, Wilson Chandler, Mozgov, who really didn't pan out to nothing but future first-round picks and stuff. They basically gave everything up, and when Carmelo got there, he was not able to compete in New York. So I always like to use that as a guideline. Hopefully the Lakers don't make the same mistake. I love AD. If we get him, very happy. But if we don't, I'm happy with the young core moving forward. And I hope that we still land a max free agent. So maybe I'm dreaming, guys. Wake me up. But I'm a little nervous for this little development of, if you guys haven't heard, reports are David Griffin is officially listening to trade offers. So maybe they already have the frameworks in the works, man. Maybe the Lakers already offered something. I don't know. But I'm nervous because, the draft night is 3 weeks away. And rumor has it this trade will get done before or on draft night. So very nervous. He said, where'd I get the shirt from? It was a gift from my brother, but I'm sure you can find it on NBA.com or Foot Locker, man, either or. Hey, Dan, it's been a while. How you doing, Hitman? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Just breaking the news to you guys. We hired Lionel Hollins, if you guys are just joining the stream. And also Anthony Davis is up for grabs now. So anything could happen from here till draft night. But I also have a couple of other things to report. I mean, there are rumors that, Jimmy Butler has been wanting to be a Laker for years, and that could be an option if all else fails. And there's also rumors that Kyrie Irving has narrowed down his two teams to the Brooklyn Nets and the Lakers. I mean, if I'm Kyrie, that's a no-brainer. Lakers all day, but I'm biased. So at the end of the day, whatever he decides is whatever. But, I think the Lakers are going to land somebody regardless of a trade or not. So I'm willing to swing for the fences first before trading anybody. But we'll see where the Lakers' state of mind is at. Now, Lionel Hollins is a great hire to me. I think he's good with player development. And I think he's also good as a sturdy defensive-minded coach, which is the theme this summer, right? We get Frank Vogel, defensive-minded. Jason Kidd's a defensive-minded point guard, but he's more X's and O's guy and development. And now we get Lionel Hollins. So to me, the coaching staff came along really nicely, and I'm pretty pleased with this. This is night and day between Luke Walton and his staff and what we have now. So this is a huge upgrade, and I think we're ready to compete, man. I really do. Thanks, Carlos. Appreciate you, bro. But I'll get to the comment section right now. One more thing I wanted to report is that Derrick Culvert recently had a workout this weekend with the Lakers at the practice facility, and he's moving up in the Lakers draft board. If we do end up keeping that pick, I wouldn't be shocked if it is Derrick Culvert, which again is probably my second favorite player in this draft at the position we're in. You guys know how I felt with Darius Garland. I think he has the highest upside from the players left after RJ Barrett in them. But if we do get Derrick Culvert, they're reporting that he has the third highest vertical jump that was tested since Zach LaVine and Dennis Smith Jr. So that's huge. That means he's more explosive, than reported. So 45-inch vert is only 1 inch short of Michael Jordan's 46-inch vert. So that's really, really good. And if we do need a shooting guard, so that would kind of fit. That would pretty much kind of fit what we're trying to do. Hey, what's up, T? How you doing? Thank you so much. Welcome to live stream. Derrick Culver might be moving up in the draft board, assuming we keep the pick. Of course, most likely we're not going to keep the pick because we're trying to get some star power for LeBron. So regardless, I expect the pick to be traded. However, if we do keep it, that's a good option to have. You also have other guys that are available as well. Cam Reddish went down with injury, so he might slip a little bit in everybody's draft board. But we'll see what happens. Draft night is let me see. If we're on the 4th, we're 16 days away from draft night. So a lot of coverage to come from this channel. Keep it locked right here, guys. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But that's pretty much what I wanted to report to you guys today. Again, rumor has it the Pelicans, they love the old offer from the Lakers. So that'll be interesting to see if the new offer, if it does occur, if the trade does happen, is anywhere in the ballpark from the old one. Personally, if they like the old offer and they don't want to leave us with none of the core pieces, at least keep the draft pick, man, because we're going to need some sort of piece moving forward for the future. We don't want to just, empty out everything and hope for no injuries and just basically go into the season as a wild card team with a bunch of star power but no depth, right? That's not what I want. So love you too, Bryan. Love you too, bro. He said the big three for the Lakers, according to my executives in the NBA, is supposed to be LeBron, Kyrie, and AD. Now that would be a great big three. But remember, AD has injury history, Kyrie has injury history, and now LeBron is starting to, get on the wrong end of 30. So you can't roll the dice like that and just say they're going to automatically win you a championship. Plus, they still have to gel and everything, and most of the time it takes like 1 year. Remember, not even the Miami Heat with the big three of Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron in their prime were able to win it year one. So it's a crapshoot. Even if the trade does go through, we still need some depth. And I'm hoping that free agency is able to accommodate us in that end if the trade does go through. However, my greatest hope is that we keep one piece. Now, I heard that David Griffin's not a huge fan of Lonzo. If they leave us with Lonzo and we're able to get Anthony Davis with LeBron and then another free agent like a Jimmy Butler or Kawhi or anybody, then now we're talking. We're talking championship because Lonzo is a high-level two-way defensive player who I think is only going to continue to get better. And if they don't see that, then that's their loss. But I don't know. If it ain't Lonzo, I want Ingram. I want one of those two to be kept. If we trade them all, then it's gonna hurt. I know I'll eventually be happy when I see AD out there on the court. I'm gonna be excited. I'm not gonna sit here and be a hypocrite and lie to you guys that I won't be excited, but it is going to be hard to stomach, our whole young core and our whole future just traded away. Now, with the way the Lakers have been drafting, I have, no fear that they'll be able to acquire future assets. But however, we've already traded D'Lo, Larry Nance, Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle. We basically gave up half of what we had. Do we really want to give the second half away? I mean, we have to have some sort of future moving forward for when LeBron retires, just in case AD gets injured if we do acquire him, or Kyrie or whoever. We need to have a plan B and a C. And hopefully the Lakers are doing their due diligence and not throwing everything, not pushing all their chips to the center of the table and saying, here, take it all. Just take the whole village. Again, AD's great, but we do have some leverage. And that leverage is that the Boston Celtics are probably not going to offer much because Kyrie's gone. I doubt they're giving up Tatum anymore. So we don't have those competitors. The New York Knicks might offer a lot, but I think if they do, does their package really trump, a potential Kuzma, Brandon Ingram package in the fourth pick? I don't think so. I don't think they have anybody over there, not even Kevin Knox, that's as good as Kuzma or Ingram, personally. What other packages are available? I mean, it would have to be some random team that comes out of nowhere to pull off a trade. But other than that, I think that it's going to happen if it does happen between the Lakers and the Pelicans. We just have the most to offer. We have the brightest young future on the table. I'm talking Brandon Ingram. I think David Griffin loves him for a reason. He's seen talent. He knows talent. Let's not forget he's drafted guys like Kyrie, but he knows talent. At the end of the day, if we give up the whole farm, guys, we're giving up 3 potential all-stars and maybe 1 or 2 really good role players in Josh Hart in the draft pick. That hurts. So we have to be smart. Yes, we want Anthony Davis, but what about waiting for him for next summer? And I know what happened with Paul George, but sometimes you have to gamble and you lose, and sometimes you win. And if you win and you keep the core, then that's big time. And then people might say, you know what, Dan? Well, we're going to have to pay Brandon Ingram. We're going to have to pay all these guys. Ingram comes up after this season, and, with his cap hold, it's going to be up to like $21 million or something like that because he was a second overall pick. I think Lonzo comes up next season. Money's never been a problem for owners in LA, even for the Clippers. It's not a problem. Our problem is knowing how to work the cap space, and the Lakers need to learn how to work the cap space. Supposedly, that's why we hired Rob Pelinka. We have him here. Pelinka can make it work. If he makes Brandon Ingram opt in to maybe 1 or 2 more years, or maybe we get him before the deadline, maybe we don't have to. We could save like $7 million. We don't have to give up that 21 and cap hold. But there's ways around this new CBA. There's definitely ways around, and we have to figure it out. Bottom line is, I love the young core, man. I've been watching a lot of film from the Lakers. I miss the Lakers when they don't play, right? So obviously I watch a lot of old film, old tape from earlier in the season when we were healthy. And we were a top 4 team at one point. People tend to forget that. But I think if they put it together, you even have executives around the NBA that fear this young core along with LeBron. And again, one more free agent will mean everything for us. But if we don't, and we do have to trade them, I wish them the best, man. And I'll tell you what, I don't like the Pelicans. However, if we give up that huge package and they have Zion Williamson, Drew Holiday, well, potentially they might trade him, but assuming they have Drew Holiday and our young core, then the Pelicans easily going to rise in my list as one of my top favorite teams, even though I only have the Lakers and Knicks up there, because that would be a fun team to watch. All biased aside, that would be an incredible team to watch. Just watch them grow together. And I actually think that would be a good situation for the core. So in that sense, I wouldn't be too sad about trading them away, but because I'll still be rooting for them on the side. But at the same time, it's like, dang, man, it's going to hurt when we see those guys rise and become stars in this league. And hopefully, we're wiping our tears away with championship rings and glory and the parade, right? But if that doesn't happen, it'll be a huge fail. So he said, what? I'm not from LA. You don't know me, bro. I'm from Compton, man. I'm from Los Angeles. If you got a problem with me, then that's your problem. It ain't mine. He said, no, Dan, it's Lakers and Lakers only. Of course, I'm a diehard Laker fan. But I am an overall fan of basketball, and I do have the right to like other teams. Not love, of course, but like them. Like them. Like for right now, I'm hoping the Raptors take it to the Golden State Warriors because I hate the Golden State Warriors. And people say, well, Dan, if the Raptors win, that means Kawhi's staying. On the contrary, my friend, I actually am one of the believers that feels like if he loses, he's going to want to stay because he's going to feel so close to that championship to run it back again, just like Paul George did. So I think he has a greater chance of leaving if he wins the championship, right? Because then he'll feel like he owes nothing to the city, and it'll look great on his legacy, period, no matter if he leaves or stays. But at the end of the day, if he does go to the Clippers, I'd rather him stay in Toronto, honestly. If I have to be 100% with you guys, I'd rather him obviously come to the Lakers. That's the number one option for me. But if he doesn't go to the Lakers, then I prefer him to stay in Toronto than move to the Clippers. Stay in the East. We don't need to see Kawhi in the West with the Clippers. They'd be pesky for no reason because they're not going to win anything, but they just be annoying. We'd have to see them 4 times a year, and they just be annoying to go through every year. He said, I definitely check out the Pelicans out when the Lakers ain't on if we trade our core. Absolutely. And I'll never miss a Laker game, man, unless I can't absolutely watch one. But, when the Lakers are playing, that's my number one team always. Dan, we have to keep Lonzo and Ingram, trade Kuz in the 4th round pick for Beal. I'm not a fan of that trade. I like Beal, but I like Kuz in the 4th pick. If it happens, I'd be happy because we get another shooter, right, a certified shooter. But if we're going to trade young core pieces, then we need to do it for a superstar like AD. I feel, honestly, a package of Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram is more than enough to get the deal done. But if that doesn't get it done, then throw in the 4th just for sweeteners. Keep Lonzo, keep Josh Hart. I feel like we're giving up way too much even then. But that would be my max offer if I'm the Lakers. That's the max. You don't get more than that. You don't get Lonzo, Kuzma, Ingram, Josh Hart, and future picks as well as a 4th. Come on now. I've never heard of such a lopsided trade. Yes, he is a superstar, but what has this superstar proven? He has no championship rings, and he really hasn't led the Pelicans very far. That would be my argument as a front office to try to lower his trade value if I'm making deals with them. So that's all I got to say about that, man. Dan, do you actually want Jimmy Butler? Look, if Jimmy Butler is the way for us to keep the core, at least for one more year for them to prove themselves, absolutely, I want Jimmy Butler because then it gives LeBron some help. And it gives the young core another year to perform and show what they're going to be. I feel like this is the year. You guys know I'm on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th year. Those are the 3 years that I believe a player's window is on where they're going to spread their wings and fly. Brandon Ingram's going into that area. Lonzo Ball's going into his 3rd season with his first official offseason to actually put in work. And Kyle Kuzma's going in there as well. So I expect either one of these guys, if not all of them, to flourish this season. I really do. I think everybody has a timeline, and I hope that we have at least 1 or 2 of these young cats on our roster next season for them to prove themselves, man. Dan, do you think the NBA should get rid of the preseason? No, I'm fine with the preseason. Everybody needs to tune it up. Maybe they could shorten it to like 4 games or something like that, but that's fine because you don't want to go into a regular season super rusty. That's what the preseason's for. You knock off that summer-long rust. Training camp won't do that for you, so you need the preseason. He said, I'm kind of scared that we might not get someone in free agency. You know what? I'm not scared of that. I'm more scared that we'll give up the whole young core and it might not be enough to win the championship. That's my biggest fear because then you've sacrificed the future and you don't have any more cap space to get better. So the biggest hope that I have is that we sign a max free agent. We keep all of our core and the draft pick. That's a lot of depth. People aren't looking at it from a depth standpoint. All right. You never know what this young piece turns into either that you draft. So that's my biggest. If it was Kawhi and LeBron, game over with the young core and the 4th pick and maybe a couple of vets on mid-level exceptions. That is my biggest hope. My biggest fear is Anthony Davis, which would be great. I'm not trashing AD. AD's legendary in the making. But, if we trade for AD and just gut the roster, man, we're going to be really dry. I'm telling you. AD actually healthy. He is faking injury on the Pelicans. Yeah, but he has had a career filled with injuries, man. I don't think he's played too many 82 game seasons. Is it Dan? Who has been your finals MVP so far? Nobody has really stepped up consistently. Like the first game, it was Siakam. Second game, it was Kawhi Leonard. Klay Thompson was great as well. But these injuries are really going to kill the Warriors. And I still have the Toronto Raptors in 7. I'm sticking by it. Whether I'm right or wrong, I always stick with my gut. And most of the time, it goes well for me. So I think it's still going to be T-Dot in 7. Hey, James Caldwell, thank you, brother. I appreciate the donation, man. He said, hey, Dan, we got Lionel Hollins, good pickup. Hashtag basketball minds. Absolutely, man. I'm loving it. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the segment. Love it. I think it's a great pickup. I think he's a sturdy coach, very passionate as well, just like Frank Vogel. And I think they're going to get along extremely well, and he's going to be good for player development as well. People just underestimate experience. And one thing we have now with our whole coaching staff is great experience. Luke Walton didn't have experience, and that was our head coach. Now we got, we have assistants that have way more experience than the whole coaching staff Luke Walton assembled combined. So that is amazing news, and I'm very happy moving forward. He said, yeah, one of the reasons I like watching my Lakers play is because of the young core. It's so fun to watch. Absolutely. We have the joy of watching the youth get better and continue to shine. And it really, we've been through this before with Kobe Bryant. We saw him grow up. I grew up along with him. We saw him grow up and become the mature young man that he is today, and we saw the same thing with Andrew Bynum. We saw the same thing with Trevor Ariza. There's no greater feeling than winning championships with the players you develop. Yes, we didn't draft all of those guys, but I'm saying we saw them raise their game to the next level because we developed them. Before Trevor Ariza got here, he was a journeyman. He was drafted by, I believe, New York, and then he was traded to Orlando where he didn't get much PT. He was averaging like 4 points a game, and he became a really, really good starter for the Lakers. Huge, huge piece for that first championship run. And then, there was players like Jordan Farmar who we drafted and became a part of that bench mob. Who remembers that? That was amazing to watch. I used to love Jordan Farmar. And I think he was very underrated. At times I wanted him to start, but, we had the veteran leader in Fisher, so I was happy. And you have to love the way players develop and become champions eventually. Look at Kawhi Leonard's journey. San Antonio developed him extremely well. And then, they traded him to Toronto where they took the shackles off of him, and he's just taking his game to the next level. So to me, there's no greater accomplishment or joy than watching players develop. That's why sometimes I consider looking into a coaching type future for myself, whether it be high school or whatever, because I love watching young core players develop and just seeing their potential. I love picking talent apart from the flock. I like seeing this guy's going to be extremely good, and then finding out a couple of years later I was right or wrong, but most of the time right. So a scout or coaching would be great in my mind for myself, because I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you guys do it as well. You guys are couch GMs is what they call them, right? We're on the couch thinking we should trade this player for this player, or this player has a lot of potential. If we had him, we could develop him. I mean, that's you being a couch GM. I mean, who doesn't like that? But he said, heard about Kawhi buying a place in Toronto? Yes, I did. And if he decides to stay there, man, well, congratulations to Kawhi. I wish him the best. If he didn't come to the Lakers, I wasn't expecting him to. I was hoping for it. But, there's other free agents that are available if he doesn't come now. Nothing is final. We never know. He also owns a home here in California that he bought earlier this year. So, I mean, maybe he loves Toronto enough to go visit. Maybe he wants to, maybe he plans on winning a championship and becoming a legend in Toronto and going back to visit every once in a while. We don't know. But yeah, if he does stay, then I wish him the best. If he moves, and hopefully it's not the Clippers. As long as it's not the Clippers or the Celtics, wherever he moves, I wish him luck. He said AD will go down as the best power forward if he spends his career a Laker. Yeah, that's not far-fetched. Absolutely. Kareem was a center. Shaq was a center. So yeah, I can see where you're saying that. He'll be up there with Gasol and them. He'll definitely be above Gasol if he ever wins a championship. But first things first, you got to deliver championships. We need both Garland and Bobo, period. Oh, and by the way, Rico, there's a rumor that the Thunder are looking to trade away their 21st pick in order to create cap space flexibility for their summer. So that might be something the Lakers look into if we do trade away all our young assets. Maybe we trade back into the first round and try to find another gem like we found Kuzma or Josh Hart or Larry Nance or whoever. We have a great scouting department. Over the years, we've done a great job. That's why we're able to get up, out of the Timothy Mozgov contract because of the drafting and the assets that we acquired. If we can do that moving forward, then I think we'll be very happy. But it's still a risk. Giving up all that young talent, man, is definitely a risk, and it's one that I'm not sure if it'll pay off unless we win championships. I saw a pic of LeBron and Coach Miles Simmons and Garland. Yeah, Darius Garland, a lot of people don't know this about him. He is signed with Clutch Sports, so he is on there with LeBron's agent. So, yes, they definitely get along. Keep Bonga. Bonga's definitely a project. Isaac Bonga, I don't know what he's going to be, but he does have size on and athleticism on his side. Now, if he ever gets it together and starts playing a little more coordinated, then we have something there. But for now, he's just a project. Culvert is underrated. Jarrett Culvert was solid, but let's not forget that he wasn't like a Big Ten player. He wasn't one of these top college players last season. He kind of rose onto the draft boards this year, and he kind of became a good player this year. So he wasn't somebody that was highly touted since high school, nothing like that. Jarrett Culvert. That could be either a good thing or a bad thing, because you do have players that rose during the tournament in the past, like, I don't know, Derrick Williams and players like that. You always have to be careful not to draft one of those players that just had a Cinderella run and really isn't that talented. I'm not saying that's Jarrett Culvert. I'm just saying you have to truly analyze him closely, because it can go both ways. There's been players that nobody saw coming and really didn't have a great collegiate basketball career, and then they're the next Kyle Kuzma or the next CJ McCollum, right? So, I do like Jarrett Culver, though. Don't get me wrong. And I definitely like his size for the 2 position if we're going to keep him. And the fact that he's even more athletic than initially reported with the 45-inch vertical is no joke. So, 6'6", 6'7", shooting guard with a 7-foot wingspan, and it can jump out the building and play defense and maybe potentially slash and shoot. That's something to stomach right there for sure. Have I watched Josh Hart's podcast? Have not had a shot, man. Haven't had a shot to see a lot of podcasts or anything like that, but I'll check it out. Is it interesting? He said Garland is 6'3", Lonzo is 6'6", point guard. We have to keep Lonzo. Again, his position is basketball, though. If Garland is a beast and he pans out, then you might have to consider looking at him. He could be a transcendent talent. You never know. There's been players that come out of colleges like Weber State, university, like Damian Lillard before, that nobody saw coming, but they definitely had the talent. If you look a little closer, you don't have to play for a big name school to become a star in the NBA. There's been many cases. And I think Darius Garland has a lot of potential if he ever comes back healthy. Culver is a safe pick for sure, but that's just the thing. We didn't get a top 3 pick where players are guaranteed. So there really is no safe pick for number 4, because nobody's really overrating anybody at number 4. They're saying that, that's when the draft starts getting interesting, because it's a wild card, right? So if that's the case, we have no pressure on this pick. We can draft whoever we believe either fits in better with the team or has the most talent. And that's what the Lakers have to evaluate and look closely at. They have to see who either fits in better or who's going to be the better player in a couple of years. And Cam Reddish, Garland, all those players are up there. RJ Hunter, they're all interesting prospects. RJ Hunter is another one of those players that rose this season, right? He had a great tournament run, eventually became a champion, and even had the championship game of his life. So that's definitely a player to look at, but it's not something you should just say, take that small sample size and believe it's going to translate to a Hall of Fame career or even an all-star career in the NBA. You have to look at everything, his style of play, his body, his vertical, his mindset. Everything matters when you draft these young players. That's why I believe scouting and, being a GM in the NBA must be really, really fun, because it's almost like gambling. You don't know if you're going to hit the jackpot, man. You just got to gamble sometimes. Should we sign Derrick Rose? At this point of his career, he's a C-tier free agent, and that'll depend on if we get a star or not. And if we do get a star, then Rose is the great option. If we don't get a star and we're expecting Rose to come in here and help save the franchise, and I say no. However, if we do get a Jimmy Butler or Kyrie, then Rose is another great option to come off the bench and just another rotation guy if he takes the mid-level exception. But great question, man. I love questions like that. Hunter is nasty too. I like Hunter simply because even if he never pans out, offensively, he's gonna pan out defensively with that body of work that he has and his skill set, and he has a man's body ready for the NBA. He might be the most NBA ready player in this draft right now. And that's saying something, especially when you have a team with LeBron who needs some help right away. Best case scenario, he could be really, really, really good. I'm not going to say names like Kawhi and stuff like that, but really good. And worst case scenario, he could be like maybe like a Tony Allen or something like that. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win, because if you're telling me that we were going to draft in the top 11, top 12, you have the potential to draft maybe a potential young Tony Allen at worst, then that's definitely a pick to look at for sure. But again, this is the 4th pick. There's really no pressure. This is where you make the high risk, high reward type picks like the Knicks did with Porzingis, right? I think he was selected at 3, or 4. I don't know. But yeah, this is the position we're in, where we don't have pressure. We don't have a top 3 pick. We don't have any players that the whole media believes we should, set in stone draft. So we don't have pressure to draft. We can literally sit back and pick whoever we feel is best for the team moving forward, or whoever has the brightest future and will eventually have the biggest trade value. Gallinari is a good fit for the Lakers. I've always loved Gallinari, man. Since New York Knicks days, the Roosters, what they used to call him over there. Gallo, or Gallo in Spanish, that means rooster. So that was his nickname, man. Gallinari would be huge if he was a pickup, but I don't expect him to go anywhere. You said Booker is worth the 4th pick. Booker, are we talking about Devin Booker? Because they're not going to trade Devin Booker at all. And if Devin Booker was on the trade block, I'd give up Kuz in the 4th pick. As much as I love Kuz, Devin Booker's already an all-star, and he's exactly the type of shooting guard the Lakers need. So if RJ Barrett falls to us, we got to snatch him up. Absolutely. But I don't expect him to fall. Dan, who is your favorite free agent this year? Kawhi Leonard, hands down. Kawhi Leonard has been one of my favorite players. And, just look what he's doing, man. Just look at what he's doing. He's a beast. Keep Hart. Josh Hart, I think he has a lot of potential. He just had a injury-riddled season last year. I definitely keep him unless a good trade package comes along. Then he'd definitely be one of the first names that I throw in the trade package. I like the other 3 better. So, yeah, depending on what's available. But I'd love to keep Josh Hart. I love his game. I love his attitude. I know he's been on the radio and his words have been twisted a little bit, but he's a good young guy, man. Dan, who's your top 5 draft players? My top 5. Let me see. You mean top 5 players I like in the draft? My top 5 players I like in the draft are, you guys already know the top 2: Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett's up there for sure, and then I got Darius Garland, because for where we're at, if you can take a high risk, high reward pick like that could potentially become an all-star, maybe even more, I'd take that pick. So I like Darius Garland, depending on how well he tests out in pre-draft workouts. I don't even know if he's healthy enough to test out, but I like Darius Garland. Or I definitely take Culvert, man. Culvert, especially with his new development, that he's even more athletic than we initially thought. Those are my top 2. I like Jarrett Culvert, but I'm not mad at Cam Reddish if that's the pick, or anybody there. But yeah, those are my top 5. Cam Reddish is up there too. RJ, they're all up there. So basically, your top 5 is probably mine, because they're on everybody's top 5 mock picks. He said, Dan, did you hear Ja Morant got injured? Yeah, but it's a minor injury. But I still expect the Grizzlies to pick him. I'd be shocked if he falls. Oh man, if any of those top 3 players fail, the Lakers are gonna snatch him up so quick. So quick. He said, well, I just discovered this stream and your channel seems like you guys talk a lot of basketball. I'll sub, man. You LA fans have a good one. Thanks, Paul, and welcome to the channel, man. It's definitely the people's channel, man. I know it's titled after me, but this is really, it should be called, Laker fan channel or something. I don't know. But yes, this is the community's channel. This is where we come and vent before games, after games. I break news to you guys. I drop mixes. So yeah, we try to keep it 100 Lakers, and sometimes we talk other basketball as well. Well, welcome to the channel, man. Welcome aboard, brother. He said, if Ja falls, New York won't pass on him. That's true. However, I feel that the Knicks are potentially going to trade out of the top 3. They're not really sold on RJ for some reason. I don't know. So they might, draft night comes, they might be making that pick for the Hawks or somebody else. They're looking to trade out of it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Dan, give us the top 5 bench players. Can you rephrase that question for me? Because I'm not sure if you mean free agents or the top 5 bench players currently in the league. So just kind of like rephrase it. I'll answer it. He said that would be fire. He's a welcome, Paul. What do you think of the Houston Rockets are going to do with Chris Paul? I mean, look, I think they're going to do their darndest to get rid of him. However, I don't think they make their roster better by getting rid of him, because what kind of trade value do you get in return? Unless there's a young up-and-coming team desperate to get some veteran leadership and somebody to mentor a future point guard, then okay, I can see them trading a draft pick for him or something like that and taking on that salary. Other than that, man, that's a horrible contract. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. If I'm a basketball GM or an owner or president of basketball ops, whatever, I'm not touching that contract. Dan, are you going to stop the City of Angels podcast instead and go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays? No, I only go live when stuff breaks, and I had a feeling something was going to break today, so I was like, I was going to touch bases with you guys regardless, but that's still going to go on, man. When I don't go live, the podcast is coming to you guys Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that's going to go on even into next season. Even when there's on game night, I'm going to do the podcast, and then I'm going to do the live stream for pregame and postgame. So you guys are getting more content for sure, man. You guys asked for it. Again, this is your guys' channel just as mine. So, yeah, I'm trying to give the people what they want, man. But thanks for the question. He said, move the 4th pick to Atlanta for their lottery picks. He said, we could still get Culvert or Garland, Bobo, etc. 2-for-1 deal. That's an interesting concept, but honestly, we don't need too much young talent. If we can add a higher value pick with the top 4 pick, I'd rather do that. There's no guarantee that any of those players are going to fall. And if somebody's moving up in the draft, it's most likely because they're targeting the same players you are, and they're just not in position to take those players. So most likely, yeah, I wouldn't do that personally. I don't feel like we need too many more young core pieces, especially if we're keeping the guys we have. Now, if we were to trade them, now your trade makes a lot of sense. We need more depth, and we need more young guys potentially to go with the vets we already have, right? So, yeah, it all depends on the situation. But for now, currently as we are, I'd rather make that pick with the 4th pick and take a high-risk, high-reward player. Dan, is Julius Randle and Thomas Bryan available in free agency? And do you see them coming to the Lakers? I love Julius, but he's not a plan A or plan B guy. Definitely not. So I don't see him coming to the Lakers. I think he's going to go somewhere where he's valued as the main guy they're looking at this free agency. So most likely not. Who are we going to draft? If I had to bet my money on it, it's going to be between Jarrett Culver and Darius Garland. That's who I think are the top 2 on the draft board for the Lakers. So expect one of them to be a Laker, unless, of course, the pick is traded. Then all bets are off, right? Is it Jimmy Butler to the Lakers? That would be great. I would be happy with it. I won't be as happy as a KD or a Kawhi, but it's definitely it's up there with the Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler's right under that. So yeah, I'd be happy with it. Good to see you too, man. Thanks for joining the stream. So New York needs to sign Terry Rozier and Julius Randle. That would be a good look for them if they whiff on free agency. However, they're looking at the main guys. So they're hoping that the city of New York can sell guys like KD and Kyrie. However, from what I'm hearing, it's between the Brooklyn Nets and the Lakers for Kyrie. So that's good news for us. I mean, for the fact that everybody was saying we didn't have a shot this free agency, we sure have a lot of guys tied to the Lakers. Jimmy Butler, Kyrie, Kawhi, etc. The only guy they haven't really linked to the Lakers potentially is KD. And watch that be the one that ends up with the Lakers. I wouldn't even be shocked if that happens. Sometimes it's the move you don't see coming that happens. But we'll see what happens, man. Very excited, guys. I have a lot of coverage for you guys. You guys know free agency is on the 31st, or is it the 30th of this month? The last day of this month. That's when free agency begins around 3 Pacific time. So that's going to be extremely exciting. I'll be coming live with my reactions as soon as moves happen. Even if it's not for the Lakers, I'll be covering it because you guys know I love basketball. And let's not forget about the June 20th draft. That's basically 16 days away. Super hyped for that, guys. I think a lot of moves are going to be done on draft day. And I can't wait to see what direction the Lakers are ready to move in. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out, man. And if I missed your question, I apologize. I'll get it on the next one, or you can drop it in the comment section as soon as this video is done processing. But thank you guys so much, man. Great to see you guys. Just wanted to break the news with Lionel Hollins and a potential Anthony Davis trade. I got my ear close to the ground. Got you guys covered all summer long. Anything happens, I'll be right here for you guys, fam. So I'll catch you guys later, man. Have a great one and enjoy the rest of your week. Peace out, Laker Nation.